This is Joe Biden, the formerly conscious president of the United States, and he, in the words of Michael Scott, sucks. So what is his solution? He brings Obama back to the White House. He isn't going to actually try to get better at his job, he's just going to make other people do his bidding. Let's take a look at what happened here.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Barack Obama's vice president. And I'm Jill Biden's husband.
Oh, ha ha ha. So funny. A comedic genius, that Biden. That joke was bad enough, but then Obama continues with it.
Vice President Biden, Vice President.
What are these people doing? They are so bad at politics. Even Obama was a good politician, not in terms of policy, but in terms of public speaking, and he's just throwing all that out the window. Obama's speech was so full of vileness and lies that we aren't going to have time to get into it, but we got this bizarre clip of Biden. Where are you going, Joe?
Huh?
No, not that way. Just stare at them for a while. And that wasn't even the funniest part of that. Obama won't even pay attention to Biden. Look. He has his hand on his shoulder, and Obama still won't listen to Biden. So the question is, why was this the plan in the White House in the first place? Why would they bring in a former president just to give a speech that doesn't really mean anything? And the answer lies in Biden's approval ratings. They are just buried so far underground that no one can ever hope to recover them. A new poll from Quinnipiac shows Biden's approval ratings at 38%. 38. As Barack Obama himself once famously pointed out, quote, "Never underestimate Joe's ability to F things up." And this is going to lead to complete destruction of the Democrats in the midterms. So what do? They bring in a person with a higher approval rating and just try to bring Biden's up. Obama left office with an average of a 58% approval rating. So the Democrats hope that by associating with Obama, they'll bring Biden's approval ratings up. It's not going to happen. Let's get to the weekly news. I hate to subject you to this, but two companies went even more woke this week. Oreo and Cracker Jack. Let's take a look at the Cracker Jack commercial. Brace yourself.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jill. No one can stop you if you have the will. So let's root for a girl's dream. We're adding our face to the game, and we'll run through with never a doubt. It's a new ball. Yeah.
Play ball.
Ugh, I hate that so much. It makes me cringe every time. First of all, the line, quote, "No one can stop you if you have the will," is plainly untrue. One baseball team may have the will, but another can surely beat them. Secondly, and more broadly, is this supposed to make people want to watch women's sports or something? The clips of women's sports, this isn't even advertising for baseball. The ones that we saw were a tennis player jumping up and down, very, very entertaining. A basketball player just on the floor, smiling, and yeah, very entertaining. Why would we watch that? And a keeper throwing the soccer ball, and nothing against this keeper, but I'm pretty sure our keeper can throw faster than that. The reason that people don't watch women's sports is that they, frankly, aren't as entertaining as men's sports, and that's nothing against the women who play in women's sports. That's the simple truth of the matter. Take a look at this WNBA parade. They're hosting a literal parade. All these people would have to do is walk out of their homes and witness at least part of the parade, and yet they still can't muster it. This isn't going to get any large amount of profit for Cracker Jack, not even remotely. They're doing the same thing that Disney has been doing, and their stock is still declining. I predict that Cracker Jack will be probably doing the same thing soon. And Oreo as well. Their ad, while I'm not going to play it, featured an Oreo once. It was all about this Chinese man, quote, coming out as gay to his grandmother. One Oreo was shown. One Oreo. They didn't even talk about it as an Oreo. They just ate an Oreo, and it was done. All right, Jen Psaki is leaving town, or the White House more specifically. Psaki is going to MSNBC instead. So here's the problem. She's not leaving yet. The Daily Wire says, quote, Psaki will host her own, as yet unnamed program on Peacock, the streaming platform of MSNBC/NBC Universal. So this has been planned, yet Psaki is still answering questions in the White House. She says there's no conflict of interest here, but that's exactly what someone with a conflict of interest would say. She maybe wants to promote a better deal, rack up those dollars from MSNBC by answering the questions of the place she's just going to. But this shows how skewed to the left the media is. Think about it. Psaki, a prominent Democrat, easily scores a job in her own show on a mainstream media network. Also note, Psaki spent 3 years working as a political contributor for what network? CNN. It's not just MSNBC. She just goes in and out from Democratic politician to working at a mainstream media network. And not just one network. Again, CNN, MSNBC, Psaki's everywhere. She wouldn't be able to do this so easily if these networks weren't directly interlinked with Democrats and the government. Time for the worst of the week. As much as I like most Republicans, 3 of them are the worst people this week. This week, Ketanji Brown Jackson was sadly confirmed to the Supreme Court of the United States. The original committee voted to a tie, so the nomination vote went to the Senate. And sadly, Jackson was confirmed. 3 quote-unquote Republicans voted for her: Mitt Romney, Lisa Murkowski, and Susan Collins. And even though their votes wouldn't have stopped her, here are why they are the worst of the week. They pose as Republicans. Any self-respecting conservative or Republican can't vote for her. For one, she can't define woman or even tell us when life begins. When it comes to answering questions, she's cowardly, and that will not go well when she's on the Supreme Court. Secondly, her judicial record comes to light, and if you're liking these smaller, shorter videos, be sure to hit the like button. Ketanji Brown Jackson has a terrible record of going very light on pedophiles and child exploiters. In most cases she's given the minimum sentence allowed by law for all of these terrible people. Any decent, moral person can't vote for this. If they do, they aren't voting for any moral cause. Now, why would I not say that every person who voted for her is the worst of the week? Well, most of the people who voted to confirm her to the Supreme Court are Democrats, and we know that they don't vote morally, and I'm actually okay with it in terms of what the public sees, not what they voted for. The public sees all of these Democrats voting for these immoral causes, and so we Republicans are likely to be more voted for. The problem with these so-called Republicans voting for her is that it shows terribly on the Republican Party. And she's also being nominated to the Supreme Court. Any of these self-respecting, decent people I talked about won't want to endorse anyone who votes for any of this. So we're lucky it was only 3 Republicans this time. If we get more and more Republicans voting like this, the general public isn't going to want to vote for any of us Republicans. Every time something like this happens, we lose votes in the midterms. While we are up in the midterm polls right now, we can't keep sacrificing votes like this. Mitt Romney, Lisa Murkowski, and Susan Collins don't seem to understand this for one reason or another, and that is why they are the worst of the week. Alright, if you want to learn more about Biden's Supreme Court nominee, check out this video right over here. And if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. Thanks for watching this week on Right Side of the Road.